Hi, it is my absolute pleasure to present a new Esomar initiative for our global data, insights, and market research community. A very special one indeed, born from our constant conversation with all stakeholders of our community, in this case, from our collaboration with end clients. It is called Brands Connect. We all know how important end clients are for the entire value chain, and clients are the end users of all our activities, and therefore the ones that provide the fuel to make this industry work. Today, we launched the new Brand Connect series. This is a series of interviews to relevant insights managers from end clients around the globe. We want to know them, we want to hear from them, we want to understand what keeps them awake at night, how they approach their challenges, their learnings and successes. And moreover, we want to give you the opportunity to directly interact with them. Let's have a more detailed idea on what Brands Connect will be. For this, I am honored to come with Begonia Farfian. Begonia is the Knowledge and Insights Director of Coca-Cola Western Europe and has been fundamental for the ideation, definition, and implementation of this brand new initiative. So, Begonia, first of all, thank you so much for your generous contribution so far and for sharing your time, your network, and knowledge with our members during the coming weeks. Can you please help me to explain what Brand Connect is?
Hi, Joaquin. Thank you for presenting our idea. Honestly, when we started with all our conversations, because if one thing that COVID has brought to us is much more conversation with people that before we were not seeing that much, we just have this idea of how to really become closer to each other and how we within the industry can become closer, not just among different agencies or different clients, but all of us together as the community we are in so challenging times. And that's why we decided kind of fresh and fun way to do it, which is something like inviting people to our sofa who were missing those sofa conversations. So that's what this is about. I'm going to invite in the next 2 months, every 2 weeks, a different friend to share with me all the challenges, the synergies, the opportunity, and the fears that we have in the different industries. Those are people that are not just colleagues, but also friends of mine, people that I learned from, and I wanted to share with you the learnings I have with them. The idea is as it follows. We'll have a different interview or conversation or chat, whatever you want to call it, that makes you really feel good, because it's about feeling good every 2 weeks. It's going to be on Wednesday, and then it's going to be recorded. You can see it in different moments, and then you can think about your questions and come back with the questions on Fridays for those that are Esomar members. And that's the idea, and I hope you will be with us during the different conversations, and you will enjoy as much as me having and learning from those people that I believe is amazing people within the sector.
So Begonia, you have just select some friends of you, some colleagues in the industry, and you are going to interview them.
Easy.
I know. It's been a long list, and you're going to interview them. So you're going to have them, in the let's say in the hot seat or in the hot chair for some time, just asking them for some of their characteristics, some of their challenges, and so on. But Begonia, you are going to be doing this. Allow me to do that for the first day and do that for you.
Was to be able to do it myself instead of myself being interviewed. But I guess it's a fair comment, so let's try to do it together.
Yeah, I'm going to be nice, Well, first of all, Begonia, muchas gracias. ¿Cómo estás?
Un placer. Siempre feliz y un poco expectante a ver qué me vas a preguntar.
Okay, that's going to be easy. So you were mentioning COVID. I mean, that's something that is quite familiar right now. What are your main challenges for you and for your team now facing the work life? How are you working? What has changed in your daily work?
I think when we started, and I have to be honest, it has been a transformation through all the process, because it's already, I have to say, almost 6 months till this exploded, at least in Europe. In the beginning, we were very worried about connecting. Yeah, we thought that before, by being face-to-face, it was easier to connect. So we were very worried about connecting, and we overrated all the meetings and everything. But then we realized that by generating meetings that you have to do through the phone, through the computer in different situations. We were much more effective and we were communicating more than ever. It might look like a fallacy, what means that it might look like it's weird to say that, but before you just counted on unofficial moments to share things, now you have to plan them. So you really plan and you are really sure you are communicating the things. And that has allowed us to stop working on silos. Before, each of us will be with different projects and we will not have time to share the things because it was a nice thing to do. Now it's a key thing to do, to be connected. And that has become into all of us working together in what we call conversational meetings, where we just share questions and we try to find answers. Also, it's a moment of scarcity. What that means for me is that, you know it, we could not do face-to-face interviews for a time. We didn't have the budget we used to have. So we really had to be focused on being more creative and focus on the things that matter most. So I think it has made us stronger. And in our case, we have become as a proven giving added value to the company function during these difficult moments, I might say. What about you? What have been the changes? If I can start my practicing to be the last interviewer with you, Joaquin.
I would say it's been the same. It's quite fascinating how fast we have all adapted to this new virtual world. Of course, I personally do miss very, very intensely. I miss the face-to-face interaction. I miss events. I miss meeting people. I miss going to meetings and being able to present. And of course, I miss being with the teams in our offices and having this one-to-one interaction, because there's nothing like this interaction, the serendipities you create, the networking connections you create, the moments that you live together. I think that virtuality is not yet there. So I miss that. But in order to be effective, I think we have managed quite well globally in the industry, because I have this conversation with many people, and people have been quite successful in moving into this new virtuality. And I always like to say that we thought we were very far away in the digitization of our lives, but we have learned that we were in the infancy. We're in the infancy. We're with our iPhones and our smartphones, but we could do much more, as we have been proven. No?
You're right. In fact, this conversation that you and me are having today I would love to have it together with a glass of wine. As the last time we were together, it was like 2 days before they closed down. I remember we went close to my house and we shared a glass of wine and we were commenting about what's coming up. And then it was the beginning of these conversations, and it was in a very different environment. We tried to reproduce it, but I agree. I would love to have it on my sofa and not just on my screen.
It was 2 days before lockdown, and I remember we were being aware of what was happening, and we were discussing about the potential implications that it would happen. Yeah, but it's getting longer than what we expected. Begonia, it's getting longer.
And let's see how it comes. Agree.
So back to some questions. What piece of advice would you give? Because Begonia, you have a very long and successful career, and one of the nice things about your background is that you started on the pure marketing side, and then you transition to the pure market research, and now you have landed in market research, and you are passionate about it. I mean, we can all see your passion about market research, insights, and understanding consumers, understanding people, and transmit that and integrate that into the strategy of Coca-Cola. And this passion is something that we can see from you. Having this path that you have taken, what would be your advice to somebody that would like to start in our industry today?
I would say that it's not easy, because everybody tries to say that they do insights, and not everybody does insights. So my advice will be sure you want to be this, and don't name yourself as a researcher. You are somebody that is an expert on insights, an expert on gathering new ways of doing things, on understanding. You are somebody that is as important as a detective, if I have to say, to find the clues. So 2 advices. I'm meandering a little bit, just 2 big advices. The first one is be sure you want to be part of this, because you never stop working, because you're always curious, you're always asking. It's not a 10 to 5 work. It's all the work all the time, because you will be surrounded by your sample. You will be surrounded by your target. You will be surrounded by the questions, because you will be part of the questions you're going to face. And the second one is think big. Don't think you are a researcher, you are a detective. You look for the clues, you look for the tips, you find insights. Those will be my two advices.
That's great. Let's go further. I mean, I know you have two kids, two children. Would you recommend them to get into this profession?
Well, you said I'm very passionate. I'm a person that have a kind of, now I'm blushing, but a kind of person that really generates a light when I enter in a space, and I'm pretty assertive and pretty bold. So I guess it will be difficult for them to be in the same space without me being mom and being a bit too much into them. So I think I'm too passionate for them to be in my space. I'm not sure I will be able to give them a space. So I don't think I will recommend them necessarily to do exactly what I did. What I will recommend them is to go to a place or to a space where they enjoy as much as I do, and where the future of the function is so big and so amazing as I see the future of research and insights within our companies and also within our industry.
Do you share with them the findings that you have when at your work? I mean, when you when you go to a restaurant or you travel, or do you share with them? Look, people
Yes,
tend to
I
do
do.
this. Yeah, you do. You do that.
Yeah, and sometimes they say, "Mom, you are very weird. Why you are asking us that? Do you really do that?" And then when
Okay.
just a very small anecdote. So we are doing something really very cool with all the teams and all the learners with the teams, and my children are teens. They are 15 and 17. So I took my daughter and say, now I know everything about you. Read this research and tell me what is right, what is wrong. She had a look on it, came back and said, Mom, you are scaring me. So I never knew if the research was good or bad. What about you? What will you do with your children? I know you have three. So you
Yeah.
have maybe one researcher among them.
The oldest one, he's 15, and he keeps saying that he wants to be a policeman. And I don't know how to, I don't know how to address policeman but anyway, it has a sort of what you were saying about
Detective.
investigation, yeah, detective, and so on. And in that sense, he's very curious. But I agree with you. I think they have to discover their path, and we all know, and it's quite well known in this industry that many people just fall into the industry. So until now, there hasn't been such a, let's say, big call for many people that we are in the industry. So I think it's time that we make people more aware of what we do and the benefits of what we do to society, to companies, to institutions, in order to have our profession as a potential profession for the youth. Because right now we are shy, as you more than once you have told me, we are too shy to share our successes or to share what we do and how good we are in some things. And I think we have there a challenge to promote what we do, because when people know what we do, they tend to like it. So yeah, it can be profitable. So Begonia, sorry for some background noise. It's the problem of working from home. And just one final question, if you want, from this questionnaire. If you were starting out in this business again, you personally or the industry, what would be this one thing that you would not do, the thing that you would really reject?
Okay, so let me try to cover it into different, and be prepared because this one is going to come back, by the way. So in two different spaces. One is me personally, and then a wish for the industry. So me personally, so as you just shared before, I started in marketing, moved to Kai, and I will never regret that. I think it was one of the best decisions ever. I'm really enjoying what I'm doing and I'm passionate about it. But I had most of my career just in one country, Spain, even if I was taking care of Iberia. And then 5 years ago, I moved to Western Europe. So I'm based in London. I'm the English person with this Spanish accent within the team. And I regret in a way, or I would like, not regret, I'm not a regretful person. I would have liked to start it my international career before. I think the open-minded, the curiosity, the way of understanding, the way to avoid bias, the way to feel uncomfortable and to question even more the things you know about consumers, methodologies, just because you have to speak in English, even if it's as in Spanish, opens your mind such in a way that I think for any marketeer or any researcher, that will be like an amazing experience. And regarding the industry, I think we should stop. I'm sorry, I'm using myself the word research, because I don't think we are researchers. I don't think we are sometimes to focus on numbers, observations, and at the end what we are doing is insightful information for the people to take decisions. We are like the kind of the NSA behind any decision that is taken. So we should be proud and not shy to say it, and not to hide ourselves behind the methodologies, behind the sample size, the field work, but to focus on the added value that comes from the inside. That will be my advice for the industry.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, Begonia.
And you? What will you do differently? Sorry, this is not that easy.
Okay,
You're, I guess.
I tried to escape that one. No, I would say that I've always been very focused to the external side of the activities of the companies since the beginning. So I've always had this trend or this tendency to get the big picture, to tell the story. I love storytelling, and go outside to meet people and tell the story. And now with the whole perspective that I have right now, I think I should have spent more time internally with the processes and operations and understanding and the technology as well. I mean, I must admit that at certain point, technology for me was just another mean, but it has turned out to be fundamental. And this is something that I learned later, and that's why I got into the online or let's say the digital sphere as professional, because I could see that that was the place to be with all the technology. And today I was reading a tweet from a well-respected guy, journalist. He was saying, because I reflect quite a lot on technology, and I reflect quite a lot how we have idealized, I would say, technology, and set technology at the center of every single activity in our life. And I've been quite critical about that. But on the other hand, it's true that technology is fundamental. No? But the problem is for what? So today, this tweet was about, now that we know that technology is the answer, what was the question? And I was thinking about that, yeah, because I'm quite critical about the excess of importance of technology that we give. For instance, and sorry if I'm going to I mean, you asked me, and I have the problem that I go quite far away. Today I was reading as well that Apple itself, the value of Apple itself is higher than the whole FTS 100 of value combined. And I think this is not a good balance for the world. I think it's not a good balance. I mean, technology has to serve purpose. It is a mean, but it's not the purpose itself. And sometimes we are confused about that. So if I look back, I would say, okay, I should have spent more interest. I should have had more interest and spent more time in the internal side of the company, and more focus on operations, methodology, and so on, before going as soon to the external side. Luckily, fortunately, I was, let's say, smart enough to get back and come back and compensate. But if I had to give this advice to somebody new, I would say, okay, first try to get a solid and robust basis of what you are doing, and then you can go out.
I think it's a very good advice, and I agree with you that everything we do has to be with an objective, but even with our methodologies. We don't do product testing. We want to understand if this product is good enough. So it starts from there. So for me, I put the technology in the same place where I put the methodologies. We don't do link, or we don't do product testing, concept testing, call it. Just what we do is try to answer a question, and we should focus on the question we answer, not on the methodology we use.
Yeah, that's it. And I agree. So we need technology, and we have to be, and this is my speech always, we have to embrace technology, but this technology has to serve a purpose and not technology per se. And we have to, and I think it's for humanity, not just for us. I think for the whole humanity, because I always like to say that when the NASA sent the first rocket to the moon, they had plan A, B, C, and D, and Z to whatever event would happen. And today we are all the world, we are rushing to artificial intelligence worldwide, and I still am fine. I'm looking for plan B. So we have to think about that.
Yeah. And between you and me, what was the objective? More than going to the moon, of the human being going to the moon. So they invest a lot on that just to.
Well, that's another discussion. Sorry, maybe that's another discussion. Okay, Begonia. So you are going to be the host for some of your colleagues. What can you tell? What can you tell about them without disclosing too much?
Well, I'm Spanish. So I always disclose too much when I speak. But let me try to keep it true in this time. So the idea is that for the next 2 months, I will have 4 different people joining me for different nationalities: Italy, the States, somebody that is Spanish but lives in Switzerland, somebody that is French, very, very different people with different industries that will be sharing, as I said, different thoughts, different ideas, and then you can open questions to us the following day. And then I will pass the baton to the next person that will do the same with another people, another friends that will sit in her or his sofa. And that's the idea. So the challenge is, will you come to my sofa to see the conversation we're going to have about to discuss about what is more important, innovation or reinvention in a COVID time?
Okay.
We will be there in a week time. So looking forward to seeing you and meeting my friend that I know some of you already know, and is really somebody that is very close to my heart and my mind.
I'm very bright.
That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah,
very bright, yes, agree.
Very bright.
I'm pretty as well. Or handsome. Let's put it that way.
Well, that's Brands Connect, a totally new series, a totally new service that we as Esomar provide to the whole industry, and particularly for members. They will be able to follow the conversation that Begonia will start as curator. So there will be first day Begonia is going to interview her guest, and there will be on the next Friday, so Wednesday and Friday. On Friday, our members will be able to interact directly with this guest, and I'm very glad about that. I'm very thankful for all your passion.
You are part of the story. So
I know, and it all started in Argentina. So let's say thank you, Mariela, for this from our conversation there. And yeah, I'm very excited about this idea, and certainly to understand better the whole industry, be able to understand better the end client needs, the end users needs, and the challenges. So yeah, I think it's going to be very, very nice. So thank you so much.
My only worry here is that when you see how we are and we disclose more about our own places and our own thoughts, maybe you will see that there is not that much magic on being a client or an agency, and we are all facing the same issues and we need to solve them together. I think that's going to be the main learning from all these different conversations we are going to have along the next weeks with different interviewees and interviews.
Thank you so much, Begonia, and I look forward to next Wednesday during the Insights Festival, and the following, on that occasion will be Thursday, so I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
Let's see. I think it's going to be fun. I hope so. Have a lovely day. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Gracias.
Gracias a ti. Un abrazo.